Oh, hey guys, just painting houses. What's going on, guys? James here, and yeah, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I wasn't painting this house, but what I will say is that Martin Scorsese's The Irishman is everything that I had expected, and much more. But before I dive into what I absolutely loved about this movie, if this is your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James. Now, if you're wondering who that is, that's me, and I love talking about movies, so each and every week I drop a new review. You don't want to miss out, guys. Go ahead and hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell next to it so you keep notified with everything new that I drop here at the channel. Thanks so much to each and every subscriber. We're this close to 500 subs, and I can't wait to get there with you guys. And in the comments below, let me know, what's your favorite Martin Scorsese film? Alrighty, guys, so let's dive right into The Irishman. So excited. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this was one of my most anticipated movies of 2019. Ever since I heard about this all-star lineup and who was directing this film, I was over the moon. Over the moon. I mean, you have Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and Al Pacino, directed by Martin Scorsese. How do you not get excited if you're a movie lover? So like I just said, The Irishman stars Robert De Niro as Frank Sheeran, a hitman for the mob, who started off driving trucks and then eventually got into the painting houses business. And let's just say he wasn't using a paint bucket. He was using, something else. Frank Sheeran works for Russell Bufalino for most of the movie, and he's played by Joe Pesci. This guy is, yes, he's a part of the mob. And then you have Jimmy Hoffa in the movie, and he's played by Al Pacino. If you don't know who Jimmy Hoffa is, you're either way too young to remember, or you didn't actually read anything about the Teamsters Union. Now, director Martin Scorsese actually based this entire movie off of a novel called I Heard You Paint Houses by Charles Brandt. Alrighty, so enough about the story. Let's get into exactly why I was in that theater to watch this movie, and that's because of our three leading men. Let's start with Robert De Niro. He's in such a different role. I mean, all three of them really are in different roles except for Al Pacino. But Robert De Niro, what he does is bring a very calm approach to the movie. It's a very mature approach. And he's also got this thing where he acts with his eyes in so many scenes. I was blown away. And then you have Joe Pesci, who's literally in the quietest role I've ever seen him in. He's not like he was in Casino or in Goodfellas. What he does is he has nuanced movements. He is very slow to speak. And I guess you could say he's a wise guy. Get it? Because he's in the mob, whatever. So yeah, I was thrown for a loop when I found out he wasn't really gonna yell at anybody. And then you have Al Pacino. Okay, so Al Pacino does yell quite a bit in this movie. Jimmy Hoffa, I get it, he was involved in some really bad things with the mob as the Teamsters Union president, but I didn't know much about his character, so seeing Al Pacino really bring it to life was cool. I think Al had the most explosive performance, but I want to say the most calculated performance was Robert De Niro. And then Joe Pesci's in a league of his own. I didn't expect this at all, and he blew me away with exactly how great he was. All three of these guys, they could be nominated for an Oscar in some capacity, whether it be Best Supporting or Best Actor, I don't know. But it's fantastic to see what Martin Scorsese did with all three of these guys in the same room together. Also, it made me smile to see some of these supporting actors in this movie, like Ray Romano, and he plays a mob lawyer. He did a great job at playing such a frantic kind of character who was always worried about his clients. And then you have Bobby Cannavale, who I loved in Master of None, and each of them had really good moments, so it wasn't like one was glossed over. Everyone had that moment, you know what I mean? Now, I love what director Martin Scorsese did by bringing in elements of his previous films for The Irishman. So in the first half of the movie, you get a very high intensity kind of ride that is similar to Goodfellas. And then in the second half, you get a very methodical pace that really is more of a character study, so it's similar to Silence. If you haven't seen that movie, I really recommend it. But it's amazing what Scorsese pulled out of his hat for this film. So yes, I was really blessed to see this at a press screening inside of a movie theater. And if you can, you need to do that. Guys, the experience is fantastic. Yeah, there were moments where I've wanted to go multiple times to the restroom. But listen, the film deserves to have every frame watched because it's all very important. And that's what's so great about this film. Oh, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys. The movie gets to a point where it's very quiet, and as it goes on, there's less of a score. And everyone's silent because no one in our theater was talking after the midway point of this film. I could have heard a pin drop on the floor and it would have freaked me out because the movie is just so tense in those key moments. And once the film finishes, and yes, it ends on this shot that tore my heart out of my chest, you actually kind of feel bad for Frank Sheeran as a character. You know, if I read the novel, I'd probably be like, you know, he got himself in this mess. He should never have gotten involved with Russell Bufalino and Jimmy Hoffa. But then you find out, like, oh my gosh, his family was affected by this. And that's why I love Anna Paquin's role as Peggy Sheeran, the daughter of Frank Sheeran. And trust me, there are a lot of moments where you're like, huh, man, this isn't going well for Frank. He's not a good guy, but boy, I do feel bad for him. Now, I know I'm singing the praises of The Irishman, but there are a couple of things I don't think worked all of the time for this film. And one of them is the length I felt it. Now, I don't mind 3.5 hours, but there were moments in the middle of the movie where I felt the story kind of got a little exhausting. And sure, maybe it's because I was conscious of the time, but luckily for this film, after every moment that I was like, I'm getting a little tired, immediately there was a scene that gripped me. So it's crazy how like Scorsese almost knew that he's directing this for Netflix, so he had to draw the viewer back in. But still, it was a great experience, especially when you start to realize that in the second half, the film is a totally different movie. Now, ahead of this movie, I understood Martin Scorsese used a lot of de-aging technology on the faces of De Niro, Pesci, but it didn't really impact the story. So then I almost think, was it necessary to use the de-aging technology? I mean, it was fine because he tried, but I don't think it was really successful in this film. So overall, guys, The Irishman really is one of the best movies that I've seen this year. It has such a gripping story, and these performances by our three leads are otherworldly. Trust me, the film did grow on me even more as I was, on long rides to work, listening to podcasts. Shout out Real Blend because you guys are great at what you do. But honestly, the film itself is so good and deserves a ton of nominations at the Oscars. Yes, it's Martin Scorsese at his best. Yes, De Niro, Pesci, and Pacino have not lost a beat, and I'm so glad we got to see them on the big screen together. If you love Goodfellas, Silence, Casino, all of Scorsese's films, you're gonna absolutely adore The Irishman. There you have it, guys. That's my take on The Irishman. Again, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel below by hitting the big red button and hitting the bell right next to it to stay up to date with anything new we drop here at the channel. Don't forget to like this video and share with all the wise guys you know. Do you know wise guys? Yep. Alright, don't tell me that in the comments. But in the comments, please let me know what you think of the movie when you see it. So until next time, I'll catch you at the next screening. I should probably go back to painting this house now. Oh, this is exterior paint and primer. Oh, so I was putting exterior paint on the wall. This is an inside of a room. Oh no.